Please like my videos, please subscribe to my channel, and please press the bell icon so that you get to know when my latest video has come. And to learn more and to find a video relevant to you, please do check out my videos list.
Hello, Namaskar and Adab to all my friends from your friend astrologer and guide Irfan, once more with you from my very own channel, Astro Assurance. We look at, or we'll try and find yogas in the horoscope, and we are also looking at any yoga which can help us and any dosha which is not present in the horoscope, because we know that yoga is auspicious. Even if there is a Viparita Raj Yoga, for example, a 6th house planet going into the 8th house or the 12th house, we think there is some relief that the yoga is giving us, though Viparita Raj Yoga is not the best of Raj Yogas. It will give you just 10 to 15% benefit. Challenges will still persist. The other thing is a Parivartana Yoga, which we have also talked about in an earlier video, but that Parivartana that we talked about was between, or the exchange. Parivartana means an exchange, but exchange between signs, which means planets exchanging each other's signs, and that is a Parivartana Yoga. And there are good results as well as challenging results which may come by depending on what the planets are involved. The third Parivartana which happens is between the nakshatras, where planets go into each other's nakshatras, maybe in different signs. The signs may not even be each other's signs, but may get into each other's nakshatras, and because of getting into each other's nakshatras, it is said to be a nakshatra parivartana, or exchange of nakshatras or the star systems between the planets, and that gives a different manifestation than the parivartana which happens when planets exchange signs. And so this is also called as the Sukshma Parivartana at a more finer element, and this gives a more smoother and a more finer dissemination also, especially during the dasha and antardashas of the planets, or transits of planets, or even important transits over each other. So the Nakshatra Parivartana is an important Parivartana and has different dissemination than a sign Parivartana. And there is an exchange of energies, there is an exchange of synergies between nakshatras and the planets. What does this mean? It means that if Mars gets into a nakshatra ruled by, say, Saturn, whereas Saturn goes into the nakshatra ruled by Mars. So normally Mars and Saturn being malefic planets, they can be giving issues in each other's dashas and antardashas also, especially if they are placed in malefic placements and inimical signs, then they can give larger challenges. However, if they get into inimical signs but into each other's nakshatras, then there can be lesser challenges which may come about because of the exchange of nakshatras. So there is a balancing of energies which happens, and a synergies of energies which happen. So here the planets work together, exchange each other's energies, strengthen each other's placement, and so lesser challenging disseminations come, and some good or sometimes more good also can come about by virtue of what planets are exchanging the nakshatras. So malefic exchanging nakshatras, the malefic tendencies are reduced. Benefic and malefic exchanging nakshatras, especially if they are inimical planets, then the balancing of energies reduces some of the challenging results and adds to some of the auspicious results. However, if benefic planets which are friendly also to each other, they exchange nakshatras, then very good results, fantastic results may come about, even if one of the planet gets into a challenging placement, or even a combustion zone, or even a debilitation zone. So let's jump into it and find what does a nakshatra parivartana mean, and how does it come about? How do we read finer elements of the nakshatra parivartana? How do we manifest it? How do we utilize it? How do we prepare for it? And in the end, how do we benefit from it? Let's take the example of a nakshatra parivartana or nakshatra exchange, which means the exchange between the nakshatras owned by different planets and the planets of respective rulers exchanging the nakshatras, which means, for example, Jupiter going into Mercury's nakshatra, whereas Mercury goes into Jupiter's, Sun going into Saturn's nakshatra, whereas Saturn going into Sun's nakshatra, and so on. Such an example is seen as a parivartana, or an exchange between nakshatras. So if moon gets into the sign of Scorpio, where it gets debilitated, and say it gets into Scorpio in the 3rd degree or 3 degrees where it gets debilitated at an exact degree, then moon gets into the nakshatra of Vishaka, which is ruled by Jupiter. Now if moon gets into the nakshatra of Jupiter in the sign of Scorpio, then moon is in a trouble phase, moon is in a trouble placement, because moon gets debilitated in the Vishaka nakshatra ruled by Jupiter. Now on the other hand, Jupiter gets into the nakshatra of moon in the nakshatra Rohini in the sign of Taurus. Now this is a nakshatra parivartana between moon, which is in the Vishaka nakshatra in the sign of Scorpio ruled by Jupiter. The nakshatra Vishaka is ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter now has gone in the sign of Taurus in a nakshatra Rohini ruled by moon. So here what happens is, while Jupiter is strongly placed in Taurus, because Taurus is the 2nd house and Jupiter is the Karaka of the 2nd house, so Jupiter is strongly placed in Taurus, and that too in the nakshatra of moon, and moon is a friendly planet to Jupiter, in fact one of the friendliest planets to Jupiter, with which it also forms a very important and auspicious Gajakesari yoga. And so Jupiter is very strongly placed in the Rohini nakshatra in Taurus ruled by moon. Now what happens is, when a parivartana happens between two planets, that two friendly planets, benefic planets, which in fact can get into a very strong yoga otherwise if they are placed together in conjunction or in kendra to each other, then a nakshatra parivartana is also a very good thing for moon. The reason being is, moon in the nakshatra of Jupiter, while Jupiter gets into the nakshatra of moon and exchanging placements, which means they are sharing energies, or the synergy of energies comes together. So Jupiter adds to the strength of moon because it's gone in the moon's nakshatra. So moon derives some strength from the nakshatra in which Jupiter is placed, which means here Jupiter is placed in the nakshatra of moon. So moon derives its own strength and so retains some strength while being in a debilitation sign, because moon is in the nakshatra of Jupiter. So when Jupiter goes into the nakshatra of moon, here synergy of energies comes about, exchanging of energies comes about. Now because moon is also in the nakshatra ruled by Jupiter, while Jupiter is in the nakshatra ruled by moon, so here Jupiter becomes all powerful, adding strength to itself, because moon being in the nakshatra of Jupiter is adding strength to Jupiter. So here Jupiter becomes more powerful, becomes stronger, because it is anyway the Karaka of the 2nd house, so Jupiter becomes stronger in Taurus. And hence the auspiciousness which comes for the person in the Dasha and Antardasha of Jupiter from a money perspective, because Taurus is a money sign, is important. And when such a nakshatra parivartana happens, the native in whose horoscope the nakshatra parivartana has come about should pay attention to this and should try and focus more on getting more money or financial benefits in its Dasha and Antardasha whenever Jupiter's Dasha comes, or whenever any of its Antardasha comes. And this becomes more stronger when Jupiter's Dasha and Moon's Antardasha comes, and when Moon's Dasha and Jupiter's Antardasha comes, because then the financial aspects of Jupiter also come to the forefront. On the other hand, when Moon Dasha comes, Moon does not give that challenging a result, because it is deriving the strength from its own nakshatra Rohini, in which Jupiter is placed, and so that in spite of being exactly at the degree of its debilitation, that too in the sign of Scorpio, yet Moon derives some strength, and its Dasha does not go as challenging as it would have gone otherwise if the parivartana between the nakshatras of Moon and Jupiter had not come about. So this is an important thing. During the Moon's Dasha and Jupiter's Antardasha, in fact, slightly better results can come, even good results can come,
in Moon's Dasha and Jupiter's Antardasha. Same thing in Jupiter's Dasha and Moon's Antardasha. However, in other Antardashas of other planets, while the Moon Dasha is going on, there will still be challenging results which come by, because Moon, in spite of deriving some strength because of the Parivartana, yet being in its debilitation sign, will still throw up challenges, will still throw up issues, but not as much as if the Parivartana had not come about. Now let's look at another planet, another strong malefic. Here we took the example of Jupiter and Moon, with Jupiter and Moon which also form a very auspicious yoga and are friendly planets, and so how the Parivartana helps. Let's take the example of a malefic, and that getting into its debilitation sign and then having a Parivartana and what comes about. So let's talk about Mars, which is a malefic, and Mars getting debilitated in the sign of Cancer, and Mars gets debilitated at the 28th degree of Cancer in the nakshatra of Aslesha. Now when Mars gets into the sign of Cancer in the nakshatra ruled by Mercury, which is the Aslesha nakshatra, then Mars is in a very tough placement, because Mars and Mercury are very inimical planets to each other also, and Aslesha is one of the very damaging nakshatras from a worldly perspective, from a materialistic perspective also, and big challenges, sudden issues may also come about during the Dasha and Antardasha of Mars, and also transits which happen over the placement of Mars, specifically of the malefic planets such as Ketu, Rahu or Saturn. When they transit over the placement of Mars in the sign of Cancer, then challenges and issues can also come about to the native. So this is a pretty damaging placement for Mars when it gets into the Aslesha nakshatra ruled by Mercury. However, if on the other hand Mercury gets into a nakshatra ruled by Mars, so for example, if Mercury gets into its own sign in Virgo but in the Chitra nakshatra ruled by Mars, so here because of being in its own sign in Virgo, Mercury becomes very strong, and that too in the Chitra nakshatra ruled by Mars, Mercury then adds strength or exchanges strength or synergizes its strength along with Mars. The reason why nakshatra exchange is important, because if a planet gets into a nakshatra ruled by a planet inimical to itself, then by deriving strength from each other, they add strength to each other, and this is like two enemies sitting in each other's houses and then reaching a truce, reaching a peace agreement that we will not spoil each other's houses. So this is a very simplistic example, but I am using this more to explain in a simple way what the manifestations are, though it has a more deeper meaning. So now when Mercury gets into the nakshatra of Mars in the Chitra nakshatra, whereas Mars is in the nakshatra of Aslesha ruled by Mercury, then Mars derives strength by virtue of Mercury being placed in its own nakshatra, in Mars nakshatra and Chitra. And so in spite of Mars getting into a debilitation zone in the nakshatra of Aslesha ruled by an inimical planet to it, yet a truce is agreed upon, and so exchanging of energies, Mars retains some of its strength in spite of being debilitated in the sign of Cancer in the Aslesha nakshatra, whereas Mercury also retains some strength, though it is pretty strong in Virgo, but because it has gone into the nakshatra of Mars. Otherwise, Mercury, in spite of being placed in Virgo in Dasha and Antardasha of Mercury, challenges would have come about to the native. But because of the Parivartana between Mars and Mercury, two planets which are inimical to each other but exchanging nakshatras, a nakshatra Parivartana coming about, so here retaining some strength, borrowing strength from each other. So Mercury gives slightly less damaging results in its Dasha and Antardasha, and Mars also gives not as much upheavals as it would have otherwise given being placed in Mercury's nakshatra. So these are important placements and these are important points for one to remember when one is looking at a Parivartana. The other thing is one also needs to see the placement from each other. So when Mars is in the sign of Cancer in the nakshatra ruled by Mercury in Aslesha, whereas Mercury gets into its own sign in Virgo but in the Chitra nakshatra, especially in the first two padas, then how far are the planets from each other? Mercury is 3 places away from Mars, whereas Mars is 11 places away from Mercury, which means that when Mars Dasha and Mercury's Antardasha comes, then Mars can give slightly better results because Mars has gone 11th places from Mercury. Whereas on the other hand, when Mercury Dasha comes and Mars Antardasha comes, because Mercury is placed 3rd from Mars, so here the person has to work harder to get better results in the Mercury Dasha and Mars Antardasha. So the placement from each other is also important when the nakshatra exchange happens. The reason being is that Mars can be in the Aslesha nakshatra ruled by Mercury, and Mercury can be in the Chitra nakshatra ruled by Mars. But the Parivartana exchange can also happen when Mars is still in the Aslesha nakshatra ruled by Mercury in Cancer. However, by Mercury going into the Dhanishta nakshatra ruled by Mars. So when Mercury gets into the Dhanishta nakshatra ruled by Mars, Mars gets exalted in the sign of Capricorn. And Mars gets exalted that too at the 28th degree in Capricorn, which means it goes into its own nakshatra of Dhanishta when it gets exalted in Capricorn. So Mars is at its strongest placement when it goes into the Dhanishta nakshatra, which is its own nakshatra. So when Mars is in the Aslesha nakshatra ruled by Mercury in Cancer sign, and when Mercury goes into the Dhanishta nakshatra ruled by Mars in Capricorn, so here Mars acquires much higher strength than when Mercury would have gone into the Chitra nakshatra ruled by Mars. So here one needs to look at where and how the Parivartana is coming about. If the Parivartana between Mars and Mercury is by account of Mars getting into Aslesha, whereas Mercury going into Chitra, then Mars acquiring strength is to a lesser degree. However, if Mars goes into Aslesha ruled by Mercury, but Mercury gets into Dhanishta ruled by Mars, so here Mars acquires much higher strength because here Mars is very stronger placed, and in fact it is in its exaltation zone. So a Parivartana should not be looked at only as an exchange between nakshatras, but which specific nakshatras are being exchanged by the planets, what is the placement of the planets, what is the strength of the planets in that nakshatra, what is the dignity of the planets in the nakshatra also has to be looked at. And now, how far does Mercury get into Capricorn? So when Mars is in the sign of Cancer, and when Mercury goes into sign of Capricorn in the Dhanishta nakshatra, now they are 7th to each other and under mutual aspect. So here the synergy is much more higher, synergy is much more powerful. So here Mars and Mercury are complementing each other, and so during the Dasha and Antardasha of Mars and Mercury and vice versa, much better results come from each other because of the placements, because of the very balanced placement, and hence the Dasha and the Antardasha of both Mars and Mercury, each other's Dasha and Antardasha, much better results are seen. And that's how a nakshatra Parivartana should be seen, rather than seeing them in isolation, just seeing the nakshatra exchange, but placements from each other should also be seen when the nakshatra exchange happens. Now, so far we talked about two benefics exchanging nakshatras like Jupiter and Moon. Then we saw a benefic Mercury and a malefic Mars exchanging each other's nakshatra. Now let's talk about how two malefics exchange nakshatras between each other. So say for example, Rahu gets into the nakshatra of Saturn, which is the Uttara Bhadrapada in the sign of Pisces. So Rahu goes into the Uttara Bhadrapada nakshatra ruled by Saturn in the sign of Pisces, and Saturn on the other hand goes into its exaltation sign of Libra and in the nakshatra ruled by Rahu, which is Swati nakshatra. So here Saturn is getting into its exaltation zone because Saturn gets exalted in the nakshatra of Swati, and Rahu on the other hand has gone into the nakshatra of Saturn in the Uttara Bhadrapada nakshatra ruled by Saturn in the sign of Pisces. Now generally Rahu doesn't do too well in the sign of Pisces, which is a watery sign, and it's ruled by Jupiter, because Jupiter and Rahu are the two planets which can mutually aspect each other, whereas Saturn and Rahu can't mutually aspect each other. So when Rahu goes into the nakshatra ruled by Saturn in Uttara Bhadrapada, whereas Saturn is in the nakshatra ruled by Rahu in the Swati nakshatra, here both Saturn and Rahu give excellent results in each other's dasha and antardashas, which means in Saturn dasha and Rahu antardasha, also in Rahu dasha and Saturn antardasha, excellent results are seen. On the other hand, Saturn borrows some of the energy of Rahu. So what happens is, because Saturn, though exalted, because Rahu goes into the nakshatra of Saturn, so some of the inimical placements of Rahu, some of the inimical energies of Rahu are borrowed by Saturn. So Saturn during its dasha and antardasha of Rahu will also give characteristics of Rahu, and so one has to guard against being misled or even being led astray because of being overzealous during the antardashas of Rahu in the dasha of Saturn, and even otherwise, even generally in the dasha of Saturn, because Saturn is deriving some energies of Rahu because of the energy exchange or the parivartana between the nakshatras. So during the entire dasha of Saturn, even while exalted, one will not get results exactly as one perceived, because here the malefic energies of Rahu are playing a part and adding to the strength of Saturn or adding to the malefic strength of Saturn. So many times a person may be misled, may think that I am in the dasha of Saturn which is exalted in my horoscope and I should get excellent results. But because of Rahu playing spoil sport, in spite of Saturn being exalted, the kind of results one expects may not come about. In fact, challenging results may come about. Person may be misled because of overzealousness, overconfidence, and being too full of oneself. So one has to guard against when a parivartana happens between two malefic planets. Even if one of the planets is exalted, plays very well, very strong and very good dignity, but because the other malefic is playing spoil sport, adding to the malefic intensity of the planet placed in the exaltation zone, and so challenging results may come about. However, on the other hand, during the dasha of Rahu, which is placed in Saturn's nakshatra in Uttara Bhadrapada, because Saturn itself is exalted, so Rahu borrows the good energies, the dignity of Saturn, and so Rahu gives better results in its dasha, and specifically in Rahu dasha and Saturn antardasha, because Rahu is borrowing some good energies of an exalted Saturn. However, the person has to work harder, because Saturn's energy is also an energy of slowing down results. So if person is patient during the Rahu dasha and is willing to work hard, willing to work in a structured manner and keeping the overzealousness of Rahu in check, then excellent results come throughout the Rahu dasha, and more so in the Rahu dasha and Saturn's antardasha. And so this is how a parivartana should be seen and read between benefic planets, or between one benefic and one malefic, or between two malefic.
So friends, now that we have seen how a nakshatra parivartana can come about and give different disseminations to the planetary energies, how they can exchange energies, how synergy of energies comes about, how transits over each other's placement or even other important planets transiting over them can bring about different results, how in each other's dashas and antardashas different results can come about, different opportunities can come about. Please look into your horoscopes and see if any of the planets are exchanging nakshatras, because sign exchanges are easily seen in the horoscope, but at the deeper meaning we don't generally give importance to, or we don't look deeper enough to see if the nakshatras are getting exchanged. Because if the nakshatras are getting exchanged, then there is more synergy between the planets which is happening than what is visible at first glance when you're only taking the signs into perspective. So look into those exchanges and then manifest them accordingly. So friends, like this video, share this video, and if you're looking for a personal consultation from me, please reach out to me at the links given below. And till some other time with some other video, this is your friend astrologer and guide Irfan signing off. Ciao.